let me put this on Do Not Disturb. Do you ever put your phone on Do Not Disturb?
Do I ever?
Yeah.
When I go in a listing appointment, I do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I do it like every day at like 7 just to kind of shut down. But
Mm-hmm.
then you know how like you have an iPhone, so like even when it shows that they're on Do Not Disturb, it has a little option where it says notify them
Notify
anyway.
anyway, yeah.
When someone does that, it drives me crazy because I'm like, it's on Do Not Disturb for a reason, and then you're just doing that to be
Well,
annoying.
maybe you left it on that and you didn't know, so I want you to I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
yes.
I'm sorry.
No. Some people just do it too to be funny, and I'm like, okay,
Or go to airplane mode, right?
yeah,
Hey, did you know that your read receipts come out to
yeah.
the people? Okay. Why do you do that?
So people know if I read it and I'm ignoring them.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it is the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
some multiple people have told me that. I'm like, yeah, it's on there for a reason. Like I don't. So that way
It
you get the
wasn't a
message.
yeah, I looked at that and I said, "Well, that's not by accident. This is
No,
Alex."
it's on, and then like even like you know how you can just like a message with like the
Mhm.
thumbs up. Like that's just
Yeah.
got it. We're good. No need to
No need to
communicate any further.
respond. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I'm a
good.
man of few words.
Yeah, I don't really need to say anything more. So and these chairs swivel too. So if you want to like,
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice. Yeah. No wonder you never leave here.
I don't need to. I got
You're gonna be
everything.
a hermit.
I know.
You gotta be
I'm
careful.
perfectly
You're
happy
not
with
gonna
that.
meet women here.
That's good. I'm fine with that. I'll have
Come
a lot less
on.
problems. No, but I typically so like I go to Clarkson Monday and then I go to Fenton on Thursday, Friday because Fenton's like 10 minutes away from here, the office.
Okay.
So because I meet agents in person there on Thursdays,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything else is just Zoom. So
Nice.
yeah, it works out pretty good.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. So are you selling real estate? Are you doing any of that right now? No.
Just past client, repeat referral. I'm not really going after anything else. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
But if it's like a past client, repeat. I did like a million and a half last year
Mm-hmm.
just from past clients. But
So do you feel like you get your information? This has always been something that intrigues me is when a manager is managing and not selling,
mhm.
how can you manage? So when you're a coach when you're coaching but you're not selling, how can you coach?
Hmm.
You're coaching more about how you need to be accountable for what everybody knows they should do.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
get that because I'm kind of the same way. Like, why would I want to learn from someone or be coached by someone who's not actively in the field?
Yeah.
But I also look at it from the other end of the spectrum. Well, if they're in the field and that's their primary source of income, then I'm kind of second tier to them
Mhm.
because, they have to provide, they have to do sales, they have to do business. But at the same time, to answer your question, I talk to 15 agents one on one every single week. So I get a good idea of what's going on.
Okay.
And I rely on like you, Dawn, everyone
Yeah,
else to tell
yeah.
me what's going on in the
Okay.
market. So I keep my
Cool.
finger on the pulse, but like, if it's like something specific that you guys have encountered personally, I'll ask you or someone else to cover it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I keep involved.
So I heard a phrase not too long ago, I don't have to be in the mud to know it's dirty.
Hmm, true,
So, you
true.
know, and that's like, it's dirty.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
You
spent
don't have to walk in with your suede shoes.
yeah, right, 7 8 years in the mud, and I was like,
Mhm.
I prefer
Yeah.
agents
Oh,
better
big
than
mud.
buyers and
Yeah.
sellers.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yeah, you did. You learned in the trenches, huh?
Yeah,
Locked
I
in
was
a
thrown
room.
in there at 18 19 and
You
just
could
figure
call
it
us.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, you learned the grunge of the world.
yeah, but that was necessary.
Yeah.
I just viewed it as like I pretty much paid 2 years, 3 years to go to the School of Hard Knocks of Sales. And that
Mhm.
was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But
It's changed though, don't you think?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Even your coaching has changed. I noticed that too. Like you have this is scripted, this is how we have to do it. This is the only way to do it. Has changed for you.
It has.
I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got to evolve, right? Because I think the
Mhm.
old school Mike Ferry principles still work for sure. Because sales is sales, but at the same time, it's a little dated, and
Mhm.
you gotta revolutionize. You have to modernize, and that's why I think the biggest thing for me that happened was 2 3 years ago. I went to Gen Blue, which was like the Coldwell Banker corporate event,
Yeah.
whatever, and they were heavy emphasis on video and social media. So at that time, I had no YouTube channel, no video, like no
Oh
experience with
wow.
anything.
Okay.
I didn't do any social media promotion at all.
So this is just like 3 4 years that
Yeah.
you've done this. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So I was like, okay, so what is it that I got to know? And working with the agents at the time that I was, their biggest ask was, I want to increase my social media presence. I want to learn how to video market. I want to learn how to do video promotion. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how to do that.
Mhm.
So let me go to this conference. And I did. And I took like 3 pages of notes, came back. And that's when I talked to James and Dawn and said, yeah, I want to start a podcast. And we need to start getting more information out there. And I learned everything on YouTube. So I
Wow.
just figured out like how to set a camera, how to do white balance, shutter speed, aperture, all that
Mhm.
stuff, the soundboard, the mics. just watching stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was college for you.
pretty much. And
Mhm.
I invested, like, I bought everything myself, so
Yeah.
it's all my personal investment. But
Yeah. Well, it's your business, so you have this as a business.
yep,
So, yeah, it's all gear you have to have, like
yep,
us with our cars.
and even
Yeah.
now it's like video editing. So like that, I took that on too because I'm like, okay, if you go back and look at like the one that we did like
Yeah.
over a year ago
Oh my
compared to what
gosh,
this is
I
gonna look
know.
like,
That's gonna be one of those way
yeah,
back, "Look what we did,
yeah.
now look what we
Go
did."
look at
Yeah.
it's on the YouTube channel. It was like back a year and a half ago. And we had so we went to the Clarkson office and I just had like an iPad
Yeah.
on
Oh,
the
yeah, I
table
remember.
stand.
And we had to wear headphones,
Yeah.
remember that? It's like,
Yep.
"Oh my gosh."
Because I the reason why I wore headphones when I first started because I didn't really know how to use a soundboard and I wanted to make sure that the audio was even working because I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So
fun. I'm like, "You're gonna mess up my hair now."
yeah, right. Yeah, she gave me a bunch of grief for messing up her hair, but now you don't have to worry about it because I figured out how to
No.
work this stuff.
Yeah, now I have the big mic,
Yeah, you got the
which
big
is fine.
mic because you're the big boss, so
No.
everyone's got to hear from you. So I know you sent me over like a bullet point list of some stuff you wanted to cover, but you know, I'm going to throw it over to you because I know we haven't had really a chance to sit in the same room and talk about some stuff.
Yeah. Let's just look for that list.
I think you texted it to me.
I did. Um, I think it's here. Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
starting a
just
business.
yeah, sustaining a business.
Hmm.
We can all start. We go to the classes, take the test. Okay, you're a real estate agent.
So
That's
how have
the
you sustained
that
your
was the
long
easy
term
part.
success for so long?
So I just heard this not too long ago about the how a bamboo tree is grown, right? 5 years you water it every day, every day, every day. You don't see any results. There isn't even a sprout that comes out. It's all the roots. And then on the fifth year, it grows within, I think it was 6 weeks or 8 weeks, 90 feet.
Really?
That's what happened.
Hmm.
Like my first couple of years was rough. I mean, our office would sell maybe 2 houses a month. So to say that we weren't fighting for listings with each other in the office is not true. We were. We wanted to be the one to get the listing, right?
Hmm.
But we didn't have this,
Right.
and I know it sounds so old. It's almost 29. Well, I'm in my 29th year. We had a book that we checked out and that had all the listings in it. And those books got picked up every couple of weeks. So, we check out the book at the front desk, we look through it, we look for listings for our clients, we pick up the phone and make a call. That's how we worked. I started under another agent that was my mentor, and she guided me. And I can still remember, I think I've told this story before. I sat in my first office meeting and the agent said to me, introduced herself to me and everything. I walked in like I dress now, even wore a suit and the whole 9 yards. Could hardly afford it.
Yeah. Right.
But sat at the table. I met these agents, and they were the top tier. Like I sat with who I wanted to be. And one of the agents said, "I have an open house on a house in this neighborhood. Are you interested?" And I thought, I've just been given a gift. I was so excited. Like this agent actually trusts me. Just learned my name.
Hmm.
Now that I know what it is to be the agent that needs someone to do the open house, it is, you do trust someone. You have to have a certain level of trust to give somebody that open house. So fast forward, I do the open house. I think I'm a rock star because I'm in this magnificent home. I'm, holding it open, people coming in, I'm talking. I have no idea what I'm supposed to say, but I wing it because I think, well, if I were buying a house, what would I want to know? So that is the agent that I ended up mentoring under. She hired me for a bit and paid me to help her with CMAs, to run numbers, to do that kind of stuff. And that's who I learned from. That mentor who's been in the business now over 35 years did 5 million last year. She's retired.
Wow.
She hates that word.
Hmm.
But she did 5 million last year. So this business doesn't age you out. You decide when you're done,
Hmm.
you know? And she can refer, but she chooses. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm in a little bit of a middle ground. Like the younger people trust me because I'm old enough to guide them, and older people trust me because I'm like their daughter. Right. So I'm in that sweet spot right now, I feel.
Yeah.
Last year I had 4 deals that were strictly from Google. I mean, people Google searched me, then they went to my website, which I call like that smash page that verifies who you are. It's not where I get business from, it's where people verify who I am. And then they went to my ranking and saw, my reviews and called me.
Hmm.
And I just did that video that I sent you about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. They, interviewed me, said they were interviewing 2 other people. We connected. I'm walking down the driveway and the daughter comes running out and says, we're just gonna use you." She's crying. She says, "I haven't cried since my dad died."
Wow.
And she says, "We're gonna use you and we're gonna cancel the other 2 appointments." It's about connection. It's just, having empathy and compassion for people, because a lot of times they're selling a house because they're in a vulnerable situation,
Hmm.
especially now.
Yeah.
You're not moving just because you need a bigger living room.
Right.
You're moving because you have to. You got a bigger family, a smaller family, location, someone passed away, someone's in a nursing home, whatever it is. So you have to have a little bit more empathy, I feel, in this market right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, regarding compassion, empathy, do you think that's something that someone just naturally has? Or do you think that's something that someone builds or evolves when they do business?
I feel like if you pay attention to what you're doing with people, uh, there, there are plenty of people out there that have no empathy.
Yeah,
That
psychopaths. Yeah.
yeah, you can try and try and try, and it just doesn't work. But if you guide yourself to listen to what people are saying, I feel like that is the biggest key. 2 ears, 1 mouth. If you listen and really pay attention to where people are and not have this in your hand waiting, vibrating. A lot of times I go in a listing appointment, I take my watch off because
Yeah.
it's a distraction too, right?
Hmm.
And just listen to where people are, because it's what I expect. When I'm with somebody, I want to be heard. So I feel like you can attain it if you consciously, work at it. But I feel like some of it is natural. Um, Mine probably came back in 2009. I had a huge life event. I almost passed away. I, had was rushed to the hospital. It was an emergency, no details needed, but went into surgery, and the doctors basically said to my family, "I don't know if I can save her." And when I came out of that, my perspective on life changed. There is not much that will rock my world unless you mess with my family, my husband, my kids, the people close to me. Um, that really will get me,
Yeah.
right? But stuff in real estate, you really got to work hard to get me.
Hmm.
Because, like I even tell people that I mentor or have talked to or coached, no one's dying in this business. Like, anything you do isn't going to take someone's life. You know, you're guiding their life, you're helping them, you're giving them information to make a good decision. And sometimes I'll walk out of a listing appointment and say, "I'm not going to get that one," but I feel like I gave them the tools to choose the right person or the right path.
Hmm.
So I feel like that is part of the empathy card too.
Interesting. So,
Yeah.
it's interesting you bring that up because I think every person that I deal with, and this is true for most people walking around today, is they had some traumatic experience throughout their life that shook them to help them realize what's important, what's not, and to also give them perspective as to, like you said, real estate's not going to kill you. So it's like,
Mm-mm.
this is nothing.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's kind of a prerequisite, or like, do you think everyone goes through that and they just respond differently? Because some people it makes them, some people it breaks them.
Yeah.
So, but like everyone that I work with, I know has had something like that happen,
Hmm.
and that's almost fueled them to do what it is they do today.
I think your faith does that.
Mm.
I'm a Christian, and I believe that my faith brought me there. I had it before the life event, and it got stronger after the life event. So personally, that is what did it for me. My family, my dad, very key in that. Just sat and prayed with me, and I made a promise to God: "You get me through this, and I promise to serve you," and that's what I do. So, yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. Everybody has some sort of life event. None of us are immune to that. It's how you handle it and what you choose to do with it. Do you
Hmm.
use it as a tool or a crutch?
Right.
You know, I've said that to other people, in life, that, you can make it your purpose or your excuse. I mean, it's all up to you,
Hmm.
right? We all have a decision.
Well, it seems to be like fashionable now to use it as like an excuse or
Sure.
victimhood or whatever it
Hmm.
is to, oh, the cards are stacked against me. It's too difficult. That's why I can't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's an excuse,
It is.
because there are plenty of people that have grown up in squalor, that have magnificent lives, and there are plenty of people that have been given that silver spoon from the day they were born that have not so great lives.
Yeah.
It's what you choose to do with it,
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah. Wow, we got very
I
philosophical
know,
here.
right? I'm all about philosophy. I love it. That's like the deep meaning stuff. That's the
Yeah,
real stuff.
yeah.
But I think a lot of people underestimate the importance too of the mental aspect of this business,
Mm,
because I came from a background where it was very physical. It was manual labor, like roofing, construction, right? Like just put the shingle on, you do this, and then we're done, right?
yeah,
This is all just like
yeah.
the trials, the failures, and some people just either don't understand that or they just can't mentally handle it.
Well, you wake up unemployed every morning, right?
Every morning.
And you're either gonna go continue to do the job or get the job, or you're not. And there's days where I take the day off.
Mhm.
I remember seeing that you sent a message out to everybody like, "I'm off Friday." That was opening day, I
Yeah.
believe,
Yep.
And I looked I had to read it twice. I'm like, "Alex is off today?"
Yeah.
Because it and isn't it sad that it has to be an announcement, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna take off.
And it wasn't even planned either. Like I was just talking to my dad, and he's like, "Yeah, I would love to go to opening day." I'm like, "Okay." So I just bought 3 tickets for him,
Oh,
my brother, and me,
yeah.
and we went down there. And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" You
And
know?
that's a life experience you created for your family
Yeah,
that they'll never forget.
yeah, and it was awesome.
Mhm.
But yeah, just to have to send out, I got like 4 or 5 texts saying, "Is this like a real
Yeah.
email? Like you're taking?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm taking a day off." Which I get that because I can be a hypocrite because I'm that's the biggest problem I have with all my agents is they don't take time off.
Yeah, well,
And
look
I'm
who they're
like,
learning
I know,
from.
and I'm like, I'm not really leading by example with that, which I get it, but honestly, I what else am I gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm a 28-year-old single guy, and I enjoy it. Like I like working, and I love the
yeah.
people that I work with. So it's like I don't really enjoy time off.
And I think that that's what is key about what I do because I don't feel like I take enough time off, but I don't look at this as a job.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I really do. Um, my husband and I were up north over the weekend, this past weekend with my parents. I went on a listing appointment. We're 3 hours away, and I'm on a listing appointment. What is happening right now? I
Yeah.
should be having lunch with my family, or but I mean, then I came back and well, what was it like? Tell me about it. Show me the pictures, all that kind of stuff. And it was cool. Like, but my parents, they are my biggest cheerleader aside from my husband,
Yep.
right? And so they get excited when I do that kind of stuff. My mom says, "You're never going to retire, are you?" And I was like, "Well, the example I have of retirement is five
Right.
million a year. I'm probably not."
Right.
you know.
Have you ever experienced
So
burnout or just hey, I got to step away from this?
I do, and I actually experienced that the end of February. I'm at 3.5 million now, and my January and February were insane, and I had to step back for a couple of days and just say, "Okay, I'm just frustrated with everything right now," and I took some time off. And then in March, we went to Florida for a week, which we do every year, and that was my reboot. Like, that phone hardly ever got touched. I had somebody at home that was taking care of things, taking care of my business. There wasn't much to take care of because I'd already closed everything up.
Hmm.
And then I did get a couple of calls, we want to go see this. And I just shot them to the other agent and said, handle it. That's hard for me. It's getting a little bit easier because then it's like, well, what did they think? Okay, do they want to write an offer? Let me open my laptop. I left my laptop at home and said, "If you need to write the offer, go for it. I'll do a referral."
And have you ever had clients have issues with you taking time off?
No. Everybody says you deserve the time off.
Hmm.
I used to not tell people that I was gone,
Really?
you know?
Oh
And
my
then
god.
yeah, that I'd leave and nobody knew and I'd come back and nobody even knew I was gone, right? And now I just let people know I'm going to be gone for a week. If you need anything, here's the agent. And they, I think, appreciate that more because, oh, I would expect that you're going to put me in capable hands. So I trust whoever you're going to have me talk to.
Right.
And I think that that's the better route to go.
Yeah.
I like, I like you and Dawn. I know that because her and I have had this conversation. We are quite micromanaging.
Like
We want,
control.
yeah, like no one can do it as good as us.
Hmm.
And that's not true. Anybody can do what we do.
Yeah.
We just feel like we have to give the above and beyond service. And we see that sometimes people don't do that. And sometimes our clients complain about that. Right.
Hmm.
So we think, oh, well, we'll be your hero.
Yeah. Right. I think that's part of it. But also it's like even if I screw it up or if it doesn't go right, at least I know that I was responsible for it and I didn't like pawn it off on somebody else, and I was responsible for not being there
Yeah.
and delivering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think part of that too is if I'm going to leave my business in someone's hands, I'm going to make sure that they have all the tools.
Sure.
and they know everything that's going on. I mean, I type out this is their name, this is their phone number, this is their email, this is what they're looking for. Next, name, phone number, email, what they're looking for. Here's their contact. This is how they like to be reached out to. Like, that's where I get obsessive. Like, here are the instructions.
So I got a question for you. I'm curious how you got away with it for so long. How can you do the level of business that you do for as long as you have and not have an assistant?
Oh, well, I am on the computer sometimes in the middle of the night.
Why? You clearly can pull it off. Why not?
Yeah, well, now I don't need it so much because we have so many tools that allow us to do it, right?
Hmm.
I personally, for myself, I have an amazing front desk.
Yeah.
I do. I'm able to give them a lot. The fact that I'm in the marketing program, and this is not like, shooting out, you have to join the marketing program, but that has been huge because I'm not all about social media. I go through it and look at it and say,
Yeah.
oh, that's a good idea. And then I'll send myself that. And then I have all these text messages that I sent to myself of
Yeah.
ideas,
Yeah.
but then I never do them, right? I can give you all the tools, but if you don't use them, they're useless,
Hmm.
right? So now with the marketing department, it's like, hey guys, here, this is what I'm expecting. So this is the tier I want to be in. And they do take care of it all. People out there think I'm doing all that, and
Yeah.
that's okay. But we do the ideas. So that part of it is taken away from me quite a bit. I still, have a big hand in it, but as far as the forms and turning deals in and making sure they're followed up, I have an amazing, like I said, front desk, title company, you know, send it over, they do everything. So I really haven't had a need for it. And then when I leave, or if I do get overwhelmed and I need showings and I can't be in two places at once, I ask another agent, hey, can you show this house for me? So I have that little group of agents that will help me out.
Hmm.
So yeah, I haven't, sorry.
Just trying to make your life easier. That's all. Talk about more balance, right?
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, my husband is in sales too.
Hmm.
So he's the same as I am. He has the tools that he could use, but he doesn't because no one can do it the way he
Of
does.
course.
So we are very similar in that personality. So it works.
Hmm.
He's not saying, well, how come you're doing this? And I don't do it to him. So
How long you guys been married?
we have been married 35 years.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
35 years with the same person.
I'm
You
coming
better
to you
choose
as
right.
I'm coming to you as personal. I need some advice. So 35 years with the same person. How does that work?
Communication.
Okay.
Yeah. Big time. We just don't let stuff go. We talk it through. Yeah. And that's not to say we haven't had our ups and downs because we have. Life throws some stuff at you that you're like, how are we
Hmm.
going to handle this? And why would you say that? Or why would you do this? Or, we work really hard not to belittle each other in front of other people and try to talk things through and just try not to stay mad at each other. And that's another thing, like with that life experience. When I went through that, I vowed to myself, I will never stay mad for more than an hour. It's not going to happen. I don't leave the house mad at him. I
Really?
don't go to bed mad. Yeah, it's getting resolved,
Hmm.
or I'm just going to let it go because no one died.
Interesting. So how long were you guys like? How long did it take for you to figure out that okay, this is the guy I want to be with? Like,
This isn't the answer you're going to want.
why?
We started dating. 3 months later, I proposed, and
What?
6 months later, we were married.
Are you serious?
Hmm.
Really?
I knew he was the right one. So I was married before. I had a daughter, and she was at the time going to be 5. And him and I went out a couple of times. I knew him through my brother and my dad. He worked in the same industry. And we were out on a date with my daughter, and my daughter got sick. She spiked a fever. So we were at his place. She spiked the fever, and he panicked. What can I get? What do I need to do? He went to the store. I don't even remember which drugstore, and came back with 2 bags of like Tylenol and Pedialyte and all this stuff. And he goes, "What does she need?" And right then I said, "That's the guy I'm going to marry." I just knew, because if
Wow.
you are that caring about a kid you don't even know, then I know you have the empathy it takes to be a life partner. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't like that answer.
I know, I'm sorry.
I need like a
It's
year, two
I
years,
know, it's
something.
very different, and it is not what I would advise my kids or or anybody. Now my son is married, and they're expecting their first one. That was not your 3 years dating kind of thing. My daughter got married, dating for almost 10 years, and got married. Both are fine, doing their thing. So it's whatever works. But I just knew he was the right one. I just knew.
Hmm,
I just knew.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if one.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm very cautious by nature, so it's like
Yeah. But you're also not you don't let your guard down
no.
very well, like very easily. So that maybe was a past life experience, right? Something you either witnessed or went through.
Yeah.
So that creates that. And sometimes like to be in a relationship with somebody, you have to let that guard down. It has to be down and out. Because if you never do that, then you're never in a fully committed relationship, right?
Yeah, I'm just suspect of people's intentions because you never know.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like you never know,
So
especially
you've
now.
been burned. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's been burned, especially
Yeah.
now in like my demographic. It's like
Yeah.
you could talk to someone and they can have somebody else tomorrow. Like it's just,
That's true.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so easy. Yeah, that's true. I
So
I agree. Like I have said that before. Dating now it's so crazy. I
why do you
can't
think I
even
work all the
imagine.
time? Right? It's not a good use of time. So all right, let's look at what else we got in this list.
Yeah. Boy, we're really going deep
I
here.
know I like it. I'm trying to get some
Uh,
wisdom too. We talked about compassion. All right, so let's definitely longevity. What gets a business owner in real estate? I'd love to hear yeah that one. So what gets you up in the morning? You're not bored of doing this? You've been doing this
mm-mm.
for
No, because I love it. The
what? The people, the process,
the art
the
of the deal. Like, isn't
mm,
that weird? That's like such a phrase.
it's a great book. Donald
Yeah, it
Trump wrote that
is.
book.
Yeah, he did. Just the whole so background, I worked at an engineering firm, thought I wanted to be a designer, wanted to be an engineer, found out real quick that wasn't the thing. But figuring things out, putting things together, problem solving. I've always said like that's like most men, if you say I'm having a problem with this, their instant thing is to fix it,
Yep.
right? And I'm that way too. Like if somebody presents a problem, let me fix it. Let me go to my list of resources, let me find the house, let me whatever it is. And I always wake up every morning trying to do that. I want to fix it, right? But yeah, it is just getting from point A to point B. My favorite day is when I'm working with a buyer and I get a call from the agent that we wrote an offer in, and they say, "You got the deal." That is my favorite day. It's not the closing day. Of course, it's great to get paid,
Yeah.
right? It's not the day, "Hey, you got the listing." It's, "You got the deal."
You
Because
deliver for your person.
yeah, because that they are the ones that are working so hard to find it,
Hmm.
and we're not finding the house for them anymore. We're getting it.
Yeah.
Paul just put out a video not too long ago about, all these people got all these offers and multiple. I went into a home or went into an open house, and he said, "So I got it for them." Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for one house. We have multiple buyers. We're looking for a bunch. So, and that's what I tell buyers. You're looking for one. So you're going to be up in the middle of the night looking. I'm not.
Right.
When you find it, you're going to let me know and we're going to go get it or
Hmm.
do our best. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So your passions have been expanding too, because I know we've been on this journey for a couple years now. Me chasing you for like a year, and then us dipping your toe in a little bit. But now you're ready to get back into giving back and
Yeah.
investing in agents and coaching. So what's
hmm
got you back into doing that?
Part of it is because I see, and I don't want this to sound like I have such a big head, but I see a lot of people doing it the wrong way, because they think it's such a methodical process and it's not.
Yeah.
I feel like the consistency of staying structured is important. But getting out there and talking to people, it's, like you being here doing what you're doing is great for the job you're doing and what your mission is. But this isn't where you stay to do real estate.
Right.
I work from home a lot, but I'm also out on a walk every day with a cap on and a jacket that has my logo and my name. My whole neighborhood knows who I am and what I do. I go to the store, I go to get coffee. I can make coffee at home. I don't need to eat out,
Yeah.
but I do because it's my business,
You're
right?
already making contacts here. You've been here for like 20
Yeah.
minutes and been in and out of the
I
stores.
came
So
in early and talked to some people. What are you doing here? I'm doing some video content
yeah.
for real estate. Real estate. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to,
Yeah.
right? So when I want to give back to agents, especially new agents that are doing this, their question is, so, I get the call almost every morning. So what do I do today? What did you do yesterday? Well, I dropped off my kids at school and then I came home and I cleaned and I organized and I did, I went grocery shopping. Okay, did you do anything for real
Right.
estate? Did
Right.
you talk to anybody about your job? Did you wear a cap? Did you wear a jacket? No, no, no. Okay, so we're still new. We're starting, and I feel like just explaining to people that it's just you have to get into the business. You have to immerse yourself. This isn't I show up at 8 in the morning, you give me my tasks, and I leave at 5. And on Friday, thanks for the check. It's not like that.
Hmm.
And I think that that is the hardest thing for agents to get.
Yeah, and I see it too that there's so many people out there that are pitching this idea because everyone's always looking for the path of least resistance, right? How do I
Hmm.
get around not doing what I know I have to do that works?
Yeah.
And there's so many agents, well, hey, sign up for this, and or coaches, hey,
Yeah.
sign up for this. You don't have to do this. Sign up for this.
Yeah.
No talking to people. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's nonsense.
No, it's or teams.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to do a team. And
yeah.
teams work for a lot of people. I get it, but
They
I
work
get
for the person at the top.
right. And I've got two new agents that are saying, what do you think about going on as a team? I was like, well, if you wanted to make a limited income, not know how to hunt, that's great.
Hmm.
Let them bring you the fish. You run like crazy and get paid a minimal amount and watch them collect the big check.
Yeah,
That's okay. Well, at least I'll make some money and learn something. You'll learn how to run because
exactly.
you're working with their buyers that they bought off of Zillow or wherever. And if you don't make a certain quota, you're out, and they'll find the next person to do it. So yeah,
It's a short-term solution, right? Because
yeah,
you can't find any business yourself, so then you rely on somebody else. They never teach you how to find that
right.
business, and then eventually, when you don't cut it or you're not happy with the income, you're
Right.
screwed. You got
Yeah,
to
and
start
if you
back
need
over.
part-time, then go be a bartender or go be a server somewhere or go do something where you're gonna meet people
Yep.
and talk to them,
Yep. Absolutely.
and learn. And, I have an agent at our office, she just had a listing last year, she just got a sale, she's doing good, and she's kinda like stuck, like, "What do I do now?" So I said, I want you to do 3 to 5 CMAs a week. Just just do them. Find a random house. Um do your parents, do your friends, whatever. And at first I could hear the hesitation, like, why? And I said, that's how you get to know the neighborhoods. That's how you get to know the market. And then when you're talking to somebody, yeah, I just did a listing appointment. They don't know you did a CMA for practice.
Right.
Just, I did a listing appointment on this house in 123 Main Street. And this is what, there's, oh my gosh, you sound so knowledgeable. So then when you get that call to do that listing appointment, it's going to take you 10 minutes. You're going to have it done, ready to send, and ready to go.
Yeah.
But if you sit and you wait for that phone to ring or someone to come in the office and you've done nothing,
You're not
it's
prepared.
exactly what you're going to get.
Hmm.
Nothing.
And those opportunities come by so few. So if you don't capitalize
Yeah.
on them, you're like,
Yeah. Floor calls, people walking in saying, I want to list my house, far and few between.
yeah.
Doesn't happen anymore. They go
Hmm.
on the phone, or on
Hmm.
their computer.
Yeah.
So you got to be there and be ready.
Always got to be
So,
ready.
yeah.
Any closing thoughts or anything else? I think we hit most of the list.
Uh, yeah. I know the big thing about NAR keeps coming up. I didn't know if you wanted to touch on that or not.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your take on it.
So 29 years in the business, a lot of different things have come up, right?
Yeah.
So the recession came up, navigate through that. Buyer agency came up, navigate through that. I mean, when I first started, lead-based paint came up.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was just like such a tragedy. And when I was first in business, we only worked as sub agents, sellers agents, because that's who, quote unquote, paid the commission. So then now this comes in play, right? And nobody knows all the details yet. Everybody pretends to know. Everybody goes online and does videos and says, this is what's going to happen. We still don't know. But I think as agents, just being prepared for the conversation is important. And I feel like that is what's going to bring the good agents to the surface because if you don't have a prepared conversation with a buyer on what the process looks like, how are you going to have them sign a buyer agency agreement?
Right.
Like, what does that conversation look like? Are you sending them the offer that they are writing on a property and slipped in there as buyer agency agreement? Oh, and here, sign this. This is how I get paid. Because if that's the conversation, you've really been misleading your buyers.
Yeah.
You're part of the problem,
Hmm.
right? And I know that's a hard truth to hear, but it's so critical to have that conversation
Yeah.
because they shouldn't even be going out with you to look at properties. And I'm guilty of it too. I did it for a long time. But having the conversation with a buyer and getting them in the office shows them you're a professional, you want to talk to them, meet them for coffee. Here's how it works. This is how I get paid.
Mhm.
So it's either coming from you or from the agent. It's very, and then working with sellers and saying to sellers, um, or from the seller, I meant, saying to sellers, you can either be the best kept secret on the MLS because no one's going to want to, show this house because you're not cooperating, or we can get you out there and mass market you with a commission, whatever that compensation is. Um, so I just think all of those things are important to understand what new lingo is going to come up, but we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
And even when we do, it'll be different for everybody, for
Of
every
course.
situation. I had that listing appointment that I went on. I talked to them about commission and we went through it. And he said, "Oh, I remember when it was 7%." I said, "I'm happy to take 7
Yeah,
from you,
right?
not a problem." And
7
he's
sounds
like,
good.
"No, this is good. This is good." And I have had the conversation about what we hear all about on the media, on the news, and talk to people about that. And said, if you need the information, talk to who's in the trenches, the agents.
Yep.
That's who needs to give you the information, not the media. Not all the people that are saying they know what is happening.
The professional liars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just about how you operate, operating as a professional, like you said. So
Yeah.
if you haven't been getting a buyer agency contract signed, or if you don't even know how to offer a buyer agency contract, or you don't feel like you offer enough value for a
Mhm.
buyer agency contract, then you got to
Yeah.
talk to us because there's a value proposition issue there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, because how can you charge a commission when you don't show what you're doing?
Yeah.
It's like going to the store to buy, $800 pair of shoes, but you never get to see them. You can't try them
Yeah.
on.
Right.
It's called online
Yeah.
shopping with no return policy,
Yeah.
right?
Just trust
You're
me.
not going to do that.
Yeah. It's
So
nonsense.
you need to show people what you have and what you can provide and let them decide if they want to buy, if they want to use that. And if they don't, God bless you,
Yeah. Yep.
Good luck.
Right. Right. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was good. You dropped a bunch of bombs, which was good. I love the wisdom. I love the information. We covered a bunch. Anything else you wanted to?
No, I think we're good. I think, yeah. I just think it's important for agents to realize their value,
Yeah.
and they have it. And we aren't salespeople, and nothing against car salespeople. Like there isn't anything. I love the guy that sells me my cars, but he keeps in touch. He shows me what he can do. He doesn't push it on me, and I feel like when you are that agent, circling back to what we talked about, empathy, care, consistency. Yeah, and I stay in touch with my people
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I have learned, from like Paul and April, texting, I'm doing that a lot more. And, making the phone calls. You just have to know who prefers what and just stay in touch with those people because they are your bread and butter,
Yep.
and can become longtime friends later on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
hmm So, yeah,
Good.
that's a
Well,
wrap.
that's a wrap. Thank you so much for coming out here and taking the time. I know you're super busy,
Thank you.
but I know a lot of agents will get value out of this. So let us know what you guys think. Like and comment. Give us some feedback, and then she is available for coaching as well. So if you want true top of the line experience, SOI specialist, she's your girl.
There you
So
go.
let me know. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was
Mhm.
fun. Hey, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed the video that I did with Alex. And I wanted to kind of give you a hint on what it is to work with me on your SOI as a coach. I think it's important that when you have an SOI, sphere of influence, that you maintain and take care of them. And a lot of agents are putting all their information in a database and then they're not taking care of it or they haven't organized it properly. And that's what I would want to do for you or help you do, guide you in that respect. So, working with me as a coach, you would get me every day, text messages and conversation, and then once a week doing more of a deep dive on what you did for that week, what you did in your business, and making sure that we make your SOI grow and make it be what gets you the most business. We want referrals. We want agents. I'm sorry. We want your SOI to give you business, to call you, so that when they think about real estate, they think about you And some of that is, phone calls or text messages or mailing, and a whole lot more than just that. So I've done it for 29 years. From the very beginning, I stayed in touch with my clients and do it, and I evolve it every year. I reevaluate what's working, what's not. And I would love to share those things with you and coach you along the way, whether it be for 6 months, for a year, whatever it is. That would be the goal that I have working with you as a coach in SOI. So if you would like to get more details about that, you can contact myself or Alex. And I really look forward to, as my tagline says, helping you make the right move.